We've all heard this story. Someone bends over to tie their shoes, feels a sudden jolt of pain, goes to the doctor, gets an MRI, and boom, a bulging disc. Instantly the assumption is, aha, that's the source of the pain. Seems logical, right? But here's the catch. That same bulging disc might show up in someone with no pain at all. That's not rare. It's the quiet bombshell revealed in one of the most important studies in musculoskeletal care, the Brinjikji meta-analysis, published in 2015. Researchers looked at thousands of MRIs from people without pain and found 30% of 20-year-olds already had disc degeneration. 50% of 40-year-olds had disc bulges. Over 80% of 50-year-olds showed degeneration, and even 24% of 60-year-olds had herniations, completely pain-free. Let that sink in. People with no pain, yet their scans looked abnormal. So if damage equals pain, why aren't they hurting? Because the equation we were taught is wrong. Pain does not equal tissue damage. Sure, in acute injuries like fractures or burns, pain and damage often go hand in hand. But in chronic or persistent pain, one that persists beyond the normal tissue healing period, usually around 3 months, it's not that simple. Pain isn't a readout from your tissues. It's a protective output from your brain and nervous system, a warning that sometimes becomes overprotective, like a car alarm that blares when nobody's touching the car. You are not your scan. This isn't just theory, it changes lives. Every day people see words like degeneration or bulge on an imaging report and immediately think they're broken. They move less, they fear more, and that fear becomes the real injury. I've seen it countless times in the clinic. Someone carrying an old MRI like a medical badge. They've been told they're bone on bone, worn out, or herniated. But when we dig deeper, what we find isn't a broken back, it's a bruised story. A story shaped by fear, uncertainty, and the belief that their body is failing. Pain acts as protection. Your pain is real, but it doesn't always mean you're damaged. Your nervous system is intelligent. It listens not just to your tissues, but to your thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and memories. It weighs everything and decides, do I need to protect? That's why pain can last long after an injury heals. Pain can appear even without visible damage, and pain can ease when safety, trust, or meaning returns. Pain is a protector, not just a detector. What this means for you. If you're in pain, ask yourself, what else might be influencing my nervous system? Am I avoiding movement because of fear or stories I've been told? Has my scan become a sentence or a starting point? And if you're a clinician, ask, am I treating the scan or the person? Am I leaving space for meaning, context, and agency? When we shift from what's broken to what's overprotective, we open the door to healing that's less about fixing and more about retraining. Reframing the narrative. Pain does not equal tissue damage. Imaging still matters. It rules out serious problems and guides care. But scans don't tell the whole story. So next time someone says, my MRI says I have a bad back, you might gently reply, maybe, but maybe your nervous system is just trying to protect you, and protection can be retrained.